Yay, 'tis I, Vegeta FH1 again. Okay, so time paradox. Yay. Why not split it up into several videos? Like, sure. Um, okay, so, time paradox. You as a person, as an individual, decide in your infinite wisdom to create time travel. And so, your first action is to go back in time and kill your grandfather before your grandfather meets your grandmother. Traditional wisdom would state that you would then cease to exist. However, time travel does not work that way. Okay, so time goes straight, no matter what. It cannot slow down, it does not go backwards, it does not go forwards faster in any fucking way, it just goes straight by its own demand, by its own will. Well, it doesn't have a will, but it goes straight, okay? So, first off, when you make time travel possible, time doesn't fucking like this. At all. So you take your time machine, you go back to the past. There is one thing here that needs to be stated. The second you go from one time to another, you cease to be in that time period. You're essentially a person without an origin. You have cut all ties to the future. So, what happens? Well, you take a rifle or an axe or whatever the fuck, and you kill your grandfather. You still exist. There is no paradox here. People haven't put enough time to think about this, or thought about it logically. When time goes forward, you exist in that time. And you cannot exist in any other time except when time moves forward. That is how you exist. We are creatures of time. When you take a person from that time and place them in a time period they do not belong, they cease to have all connection to the time they used to have. And then they continue having time in the place that they now reside, that being in the past. Time doesn't give a shit where you are, as long as you abide by its rules. When you kill your grandfather, you would not exist in the time period you used to be in, that now being the future. But you in the past still exist because you are now locked to that time period. So there is no paradox here. How people have misinterpreted time is dumbfounding. It doesn't tell you that, oh, you kill your grandfather and then you cease to exist, and then therefore you can't go back in time and kill your grandfather, so your grandfather still exists, so you can be born, so you can go back in time and kill your grandfather. That doesn't fucking happen. Okay? You can only exist in one time. There is no two people of you. You either exist in the future or you exist in the past. If you go back in time, you exist in the past, you cut all ties to the future. So, you existing in the future cannot happen. So, you are now in the past. That part of you going into the past, the you, the self, cannot exist in the future that you came from. You are a person without origin. The second you kill your grandfather, you still exist. But then you couldn't have existed in the future anyway. So you still exist in the past, and that is the time period you now belong to. Being in the future cannot happen. You can go back to the future, ha 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 ha, but the person you would have been in the future does not exist. So you are again you are a person without an origin. The whole thought experiment of you not existing with time travel is a load of shit. Because if you go back in time and cut all ties to the future, that time period now has you coming out of fucking nowhere. Time doesn't give a shit where you come from, as long as you abide by its rules of going forward. It doesn't care about anything else. So the second you step, in fact it's not even the second, well no it is. The second you step into your time machine or portal or whatever the fuck, and you use it, you cut all times to the time period you come from. That goes for being in the present day, that goes for being in the past, that goes for being in the future. It doesn't matter. You lose connection to all time periods, except time itself, which states, I will always go forward, I don't give a fuck. So that is that. There is no paradox here. Okay. That's a second video for today. Yay.